everybody. Welcome back. This is kind of going to be a informational how-to kind of thing. And I've done one of these before, but now that I've had some learning behind me, I thought I would share this again in a different video. First, I don't know if it'll be kind of like a 3-part, 2-part, whatever. I'm going to get as much information in here as I can. Now, I reborn dolls and also pre-loved dolls. I guess that's a good way to put it. Behringer dolls is the ones I like to do. Now, I am going to do a series, and I think I've done this before, but I'll do it again, and this is going to be pretty much part of this whole thing. So, first off, you got to decide if you're how you're gonna paint. Are you gonna use heat set paints, which I do not for health reasons, or there's different kinds of air dry paints. I particularly use acrylics. I haven't tried any other ones. It's what I had. It was most economical for me, and that's what I chose to do. So in doing that, because I don't heat seal, you have to figure out what you're going to use to seal the paint so the paint does not come off. So anyway, a little overview about that. So I use acrylics. I use different brands, mostly Delta Ceramcoat paints. And you can use, like if you have a tutorial for Genesis Heat Set, and you can use the same colors, you just need to figure out how to make them, or something similar to. So that's what I did in the beginning. I watched, I think for a year, I watched every single tutorial there was that was available free on painting reborns. And I found a few ladies out there that do offer some of it's still free and some of it is not. Like In Love with Reborns has a couple of tutorials on her channel. They're older videos. There's Annette from, and I should probably get this right, but I'll link their channels down below. She's from Australia. She has an awesome tutorials. And then there's a couple of other ones that I watched. Now, mind you, this took time because each video process is days. I mean, days. So I took a ton of notes. After I would watch them first, and then I have a special notebook over here that I use for writing down my tutorials that I've watched that have helped me and that work for me. So I don't have to keep watching the videos. I'm getting older and I don't remember nothing. So I have spent hours writing things down, rewatching videos, the whole bit. So you kind of got to be committed to wanting to do this. If you're lucky enough to have a reborn artist near you, which I do not, you can actually get a hold of them and see if they're willing to teach you. You know, every artist is different. Beginner, intermediate, advanced, everybody's different. You can have, like I do watercolor painting, and you can have 5 people, 10 people, it does not matter. And you have one subject, it's all going to look different. So just keep that in mind. Your work is not going to look like so-and-so's work. Even though you'd want it to, it's not going to. It's because you're individual, it's your stuff. Okay? So, I had several ladies ask me about reborning the Behringer dolls, and I have not taken this one, and this looks bad. Her head's right here. It's actually going to be a girl. I've already decided. So, I like doing the Behringer dolls, and I go onto eBay and I look for them. You can go to yard sales, you can go to thrift stores or whatever and find them. I think I have at any one time in my eBay I have probably 10 to 20, 25 dolls that are available. They just got to be the right price. And if you're willing to do it, you got to figure, if you're going to sell it, you got to figure that into what you're going to sell it for. So I try to find economical ones. The last ones that I've done are 2000, I believe it's 2007. I think it said on the heads. And it'll have a, right on the in back of the neck, it'll tell you Behringer and the year. Like this one's a 2007. But in the other ones I've done, this one has an Audi, which I am thrilled to death about. The other ones are innies. This one's an Audi. I've never had one before. So with these dolls, you have to take them apart. And there's a lady that I watched that shows how to do it. And I will link her. I'm not going to take credit for it. I watched her video probably 5 times before I actually dared cut into these dolls. You need a sharp X-Acto knife to cut this. Okay. I'm not actually going to cut it here on this video, but there will be a series because there's been a few ladies that want to see the process. So I will save that for another video. But you are going to, when you buy these secondhand, you need to wash them. A lot of them come with little specks. Like this one has ink right here that I've tried to get off. And I just cannot get it off. But I'm going to keep trying. There's some magic eraser works wonders. But I'm going to have to wash this doll again because it's dirty still. So I will wash it again, make sure it's dried. I'll put the head back on so water doesn't get down inside. I'm going to cut it apart anyways. So you need a sharp knife if you're going to do one of these dolls. And actually this is the best way to begin with. That way you're not spending buku bucks on a kit. Bountiful Baby used to have the most economical kits, but with COVID and all of that, is not the case anymore. So you can find some kits online, Facebook groups, stuff like that. You just have to look. There's Dolls by Sandy, there's McPherson's. You just have to look. And it took me over a year and a half before I got brave to do an actual kit. And I still have it. It's Tegan. Tegan's my first one. And you want to do it on a least expensive kit first. So I do recommend try reboarding like one of these dolls first. It's going to be the closest that you're going to come to a kit. So anyway, you need a doll of some kind, whichever you choose. When you buy the kits, they either come with a body or they do not come with a body. So you'll have to make sure you get the right body for the kit. If it's a 17-inch doll, you want to make sure you get a 17-inch body or it'll look funny. So when I get the Behringer dolls, I go to Bountiful Baby and I get the body off of there. They're like, sometimes they have a sale. Lately I haven't gotten lucky, so this cost me $14 plus shipping. So it ended up being like 25 bucks for a body. So, plus this kit, plus not the kit, but plus this doll that I got. So just the body and the doll itself, I spent 50 bucks. So, plus your time and all of that. So you got to figure that out. Anyways, okay, so going on, you'll need a kit and a body. You'll need filler. You will need polyfill, and you will need glass beads or those poly pellets. I personally have not used poly pellets. I've only used glass beads. You will need nylons if you use any one of the fillers, actually. I usually use a set per doll. So I'll cut each stocking in half. So one will be the butt. Half of it will be the butt. The other half will be the head. And then the other one will be the body part. And you fill it according to how heavy you want it. That's the next thing. You're going to need a scale. So you can figure out how big. I know a lot of ladies, once they get confident enough and done this enough, they don't need a scale. They know how much the baby is. So there's that. And so I use rubber gloves because the paint gets on my hands. And I found out that if I don't use the gloves and my hand is touching the vinyl, it causes problems. It's happened to me twice, at least twice now. Tanner was the first one, and then I had another one that did it to me. Charla did it to me where my finger was on there and the paint did not stick. So I don't know if it's the oils from your hands or whatever, but I recommend wearing gloves. It does make it a little harder. You have to get used to it. So gloves, you'll need some sponges. These are the ones that I use. I use these little ones, and I use these bigger ones for mottling, ones with the holes. I use these for that, and these I use for washes and stuff. So get those out of the way, that out of the way, okay? You'll need some Q-tips. I didn't think I would ever need those, but you do need those. And I've got the ones that have the, the pointy tip on the end, and I've used a few of these now. So some Q-tips. You'll need, for the smell, you can get these off of Bountiful Baby or Dolls by Sandy. I'm sure all the doll places will have them, are the powder wafers. And this is a 10-pack. So I got 10 of them for like, I don't know if it was $1.50 or something like that. It wasn't very much. Anyway, but I cut it in half. So one will go in the body, one will go in the head. So I cut it in half to use those, and they smell good. And then, depending on your baby, if it has an open mouth where you can modify a pacifier, awesome. If you do not, then you can put a magnet in. Like this one is going to have a magnet in there. And it's probably going to have to stick. Yeah, it's not going to stick on the bump on the inside. So it's going to have to go underneath. If you put it up by the nose, then it's up by the nose. So it's going to have to go down by the chin. And then you, when you put the magnet on the pacifier, you put it according to, set it according to the way you want it to look on there. So with that, you will need some felt. I use white. You will need some heavy duty magnets. My husband got me these off of eBay, and they're pretty strong. There's a bunch of them. These are pretty strong. They're really thin, and they can break, so you be careful. So I use those, and then if I can, I don't think I have any more. I have littler ones that I put on the pacifier. But there's your magnets. Some of the kits, like this Behringer won't have one, but the kits will have the rings and plugs for them. And I found if you want it to be movable, you want to get the rings. The plugs, if you don't want to keep, these are 59 cents a piece, each one of these. If you don't want to use plugs, I watched another lady, and she just cuts out, because it gets expensive, guys. So you can cut out a piece of heavy-duty cardstock, so you can plug the hole. So I found that I've done that, and I'll have to do it with the Behringer ones, because these plugs and stuff that you can get from Bountiful Baby, whatever, they don't work for me, so I end up having to cut it and make my own. Okay, painting. Well, here's some of the glass beads. I put it in a little bottle and cut the nipple. So I have different funnels here for different sizes. The Behringer babies, I have to use this teeny tiny one, and I don't remember what I got it with. And then I have another size up. You can get funnels, or you can make your own, whatever. This is what I use to fill it up and dump in. This is the end of a soda bottle. And I have two of these, one long one, one short one. I cut it off to fill the babies. So I have those. glass beads. For other smells, you can use, I've never done this, but I guess you can, is the baby scented scent things. I usually just put these in the box if it's somebody's bought it or whatever. So painting wise, okay, let's get to painting. Then we'll talk about rooting and all that. I used an old bottle I have, and these are the paintbrushes that I tend to go with. I have more over here in the corner, but I tend to go with these. I have a half tablespoon measure, and I also have a dropper. And then your different paintbrushes. This one I use for gluing and putting on, like gluing the hair in, and to put on, sometimes I'll use this for the varnish, but I have another one that I use for the varnish, and that's this one. But it doesn't really matter. You brush it on and you have to pounce it. So I got those two, and then this is my favorite one. I have not had any luck painting hair, but I do have brushes, and you can see them. See, they're kind of funny, that you can use to paint hair. I got these because I was going to try it, and I have not done it. I'm too scared to do it. So eventually I will learn to do that. And I have, yeah, I have three of those. The 3 different sizes. I have 3 of those. This is the one that I use the most to mix and everything, is these. And this one is a number 8. They're probably both number 8s because they're similar. But I got my brushes at Walmart. So, and then you've got your smaller ones. Some smaller one of these ones. These ones are 4s and 6. These ones, and you have to have, for lining, I haven't bought one, but I'm going to. I'm going to invest the money into a really fine line brush. I had my husband make me this one, but you use that for details, you know, like little tiny veins and little creases in the lips and that kind of thing. I use that for this one. I use that one all the time. And then these other little ones, there's a bunch of them. They're all different sizes and shapes. Is for like blushing and that kind of thing. All these other little ones. Very rare to use the big ones. And then you have some for pouncing, like your, I've got red, dark red, and blue. It's not blue, and I have a blue one right here. I have 2 blue ones I do blues with. I do wash my brushes after I'm done with them. But, okay, so there's some brushes. I would just get a kit like it. You can get them at art stores, but they're going to be more expensive at the art stores. But I would get a set that has different ones in it. I think I have one that has a fan brush in it and all of that. And I don't use that. I know that some people do. If there's a tutorial that you like that has that, go for it. I just don't. It's mostly for hair. So I have that on here. I have distilled water because I don't have the solvent because I'm not using heat set. So you would substitute water for the solvent. So I've got some distilled water. You just buy that at the grocery store or whatever. It's usually in the baby aisle. It's just distilled water. You get a gallon of it. And I've had mine since I started, was it 2 years? And it's almost gone. I think I have to get another one. But I've just put it in a container so I can keep it up on my desk. And then I have a spray bottle of just regular water. You can use that conditioner. You can put some little bit of baby conditioner in here, whatever, for the hair. I don't do that. I just have plain water. Okay. This is what I use let me get out the colors so I can show you. I'll show you the colors mostly. I'm still fandangling the flesh tone color, and each time I do it I think it's going to be dark enough, and it's not. So I have, next time I go to Walmart, I'm going to have to look at the tans and get one in between these or darker than these, because they're not dark enough for me. So I have a few colors of flesh colors, but they're all lighter, and I've tried mixing colors like a tan and mixing it with white, and it don't work. Okay, let me get these colors out. That's the same as this one. Okay, I don't use my browns, at least I haven't. I did in the beginning, but I haven't. Okay, so my colors. So there's two different color purples. The darker purple is if you want darker looking underneath. It's usually preemie, newborn, and more lighter purple for older babies. I don't like the lighter color, so I stopped using it. I like the darker color. Crimson red, which is, I use the substitute for Genesis red, and this is a crimson red. It's like a bright color red. I do use this for newborn 0 to 3 month babies, or if you want it darker, I use maroon, which I think is a red 02. I looked on the color chart, and watching these things, I just kind of look at it, and then when I go shopping, I screenshot it, so I know what color shade I'm looking for. So there's my reds, a yellow, and I have a darker yellow too, but I don't use the darker yellow. I use this yellow. Okay, and you got your purple. Now the blues, you can try to figure out. So, sorry about that. Blues. Blue washes, veining, depending on how you want it to look. Now I have found, I guess the veining that a lot of them, it's a color like this. Sometimes I'll use this, sometimes I don't. There's a light blue, if you want to use a light blue. Most of the time I use this color, the darker color, because my veins are dark, you know? My veins are darker, so I'm using the darker blue. So there's the blues, and then my different tan colors for the skin tone. So, and you can add, like this is a peachy color, this is flesh tone, but my flesh does not look like that color. So, and I tried to go with the closest one, and mine's kind of reddish. My skin tone is kind of red. And this seems to be the closest one, and I'll add a little bit of red color to it. So there's the colors mostly that I use. There's a lot more and different variations. So these are the colors that I use. I have these little dishes, you get 4 of them for $1 at Dollar Tree. This is what I mix with, and I've got a bunch of them over here. And then after that, well, actually before that, because the paint has to adhere to the vinyl. So I use the Glass and Tile Medium by Folk Art, and you put a little bit of it in with your paint. I just do a little dot and mix it in with the paint, but also before you paint, you put this on the doll. So you'll coat the doll with this, and I give it a little bit of texture, so I'll take one of those little sponges and I'll rip the top off so it's kind of like that. you can see. It's not smooth like this side. It's rough. So, and then I brush it on it, let it dry. Sometimes I let it dry overnight, sometimes just a few hours. It needs to dry to adhere to the vinyl. And I mix this with my paint. So depending on, like mine, it tells me how much paint to use. I will put a couple of little dots of this in the paint and mix it up. Okay, so before painting and put into the paint. And then after painting, I use, this is the varnish I use. It's Americana Decor Soft Touch Varnish. And I have noticed, because I'm down in the basement, so it's cold down here. It's cooler down here. And I've noticed once it gets to the end of this, it's not as watery, I guess you want to say. This one is still good. It does have a smell. Not bad, though. And you cover the whole kit with this. And sometimes I'll use 2 coats. I haven't done 3, but I'll use a thin coat for the first one. That's after it's painted and dried. And then you go back with this and you use the same kind of sponge. I use one for each thing. One for the head, one for the arms, and one for the feet, you know, the legs. And sometimes 2 each. It depends. Of this. Let it dry. Do it again and all that, and it's done. I actually will add some of the flush color to this in the end. And I use that. And then when that's all dry, you go back in with the fingertips and the lips and stuff. And I use Duraclear Deco Art Americana Duraclear Gloss Varnish. So this is like glossy, and it makes it look really cute. Nice and glossy. You can do it. I have a matte one too. This one is velvety finish. This, because I don't want that on the lips. I want it shiny, so I use this one. So I guess you could use this varnish instead of this. But this is better. You can use this though, I guess. Velvety finish. But look at the size difference. So this might do 1 baby versus 2 or 3 with this one. So, okay. So, and then for rooting, you need your rooting needle. And you can use a variation of them. I have both, and I seem to like the this one better. The needle is in this, but you take it out and flip it around and put it back in. That's one needle. Or you can use the mushroom one, which you have to break this part to get it to fit in here. And I really don't care for this one too much, but I do like this one. A brush. I use a toothbrush, the spray bottle, and then when you get it all done, I would do this before you cut your hair, but glue it down on the inside of the head. Just put a bunch of glue in here and take a brush and move it around. And this one is Gemtech Permanent Glue. This is the one that I use. So, and it glues too. It dries hard. So that's about everything for that. So hopefully that helped you guys. Any questions, feel free to comment down below. And if you're like I am, where you can't see up close or it's harder, you can get one of these mirrors for rooting. This just sets against your body, and this is around your head, and you can see better. You can use one of those. Anyway, all right, I hope that helps somebody out there. Any other questions, give me right down below, and I will leave the links for those people like I told you. And stay tuned for the next reborning series with this Behringer doll right here, right there, which is going to be a girl. So, alrighty, we will see you all again soon. Bye now.